The backstage atmosphere after WWE Raw has never been more explosive, as shocking developments unfolded away from the cameras, sparking whispers throughout the entire WWE locker room and setting the stage for what may be one of the most personal and emotionally charged wars in Bloodline history. The spotlight has now shifted dramatically, not because of what happened in the ring, but due to the raw, unscripted tension brewing behind the scenes involving none other than Jacob Fatu and the reigning tribal chief, Roman Reigns. As Raw went off the air and fans believed the chaos had ended, a storm was brewing backstage, one that would shake the foundation of the Anoa'i legacy and bring a whole new level of emotional warfare to WWE. Jacob Fatu, known as the Samoan werewolf for good reason, was seen pacing through the backstage corridors with a fierce and determined expression, his eyes burning with intensity. Everyone could tell something was about to go down, but few were prepared for the seismic confrontation that was moments away from erupting. Fatu wasn't just angry, he was fed up, frustrated, ready to explode. And he had only one name on his mind: Roman Reigns. What led to this moment was weeks, if not months, of internal bloodline fractures, with solo Sikoa taking increasingly erratic control over what was once a united family empire. Sikoa's version of leadership had become more violent, more unhinged, more divisive. Jacob Fatu, a man who respects loyalty and legacy, had watched long enough. The chaos had gone too far. The silence from Roman Reigns, once a powerful and commanding presence in WWE, had become deafening. So, Fatu made a decision. No waiting. No calling meetings. No second-guessing. He marched directly to Roman Reigns' private locker room, where no one dares enter uninvited. Without a hint of hesitation, he threw the door open, stepped inside, and looked the tribal chief directly in the eyes. Roman was alone, sitting silently, exuding that quiet intimidation he's known for. But this time, it wasn't enough to silence Fatu. The air was thick with tension as Fatu, raw with emotion, confronted the man who once held the family together. He didn't come with threats or dramatics. He came with truth. "You built this," Jacob said, his voice steady but filled with fire. "Now Solo's destroying it. Are you going to stand with him? Or are you going to stand with me?" That sentence hit like a super kick to the chest. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, didn't answer immediately. He just stared. That same cold, calculating stare that has intimidated dozens of opponents over the years. But this wasn't about dominance anymore. This wasn't about titles or status. This was about family, about betrayal, about identity. Fatu wasn't asking Roman to lead. He was demanding Roman choose. And the silence that followed was more telling than any words Roman could have spoken. It wasn't that he didn't care. It was that the choice was tearing him apart from the inside. Because deep down, Roman knows Fatu is right. The silence in that locker room was almost unbearable. Tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Jacob Fatu didn't wait for a long speech. He looked Roman square in the eyes and said, "It's time to end the madness Solo Sikoa is unleashing before it's too late." Those words weren't just about ending chaos. They were about saving a dynasty. Saving what's left of a family name that had once ruled WWE like no other. The Bloodline wasn't just a faction, it was a movement, a legacy, a symbol of unity and strength. And now it's on the brink of implosion. All because of Solo's reckless pursuit of control. And Roman's refusal to act. That silence could mean choosing destruction over redemption. Jacob Fatu is not a man to make idle threats or empty statements. He represents the side of the bloodline that still honors the values it was built on: respect, loyalty, strength, and family. And with Roman Reigns frozen in uncertainty, fans everywhere are left asking, has the tribal chief lost his way? Or is this the moment that wakes the beast within and finally gets him to reclaim what he built? Because Jacob Fatu didn't come to talk. He came to draw the battle lines. And those lines are becoming clearer with every passing minute. It's either Solo's twisted, authoritarian vision of the bloodline, or it's the path of unity and restoration that Fatu is offering. And let's not forget, Jacob Fatu isn't alone in feeling betrayed. The WWE Universe has been watching the Bloodline story unravel and implode ever since Roman Reigns took his hiatus and Solo started grabbing the reins. What once felt like a dynasty built to last a decade has now become a ticking time bomb. The fans are confused, enraged, and heartbroken watching a family destroy itself from the inside. What happened backstage after Raw may have been away from the cameras, but it sent shockwaves through every locker room, every creative meeting, every faction, and every corner of the WWE Universe. As word spreads, superstars are taking sides. Some silently back Fatu, recognizing that Solo's power grab is tearing apart the locker room morale. Others fear Roman Reigns' potential wrath should he finally speak and decide to crush anyone who stood against his silence. But what's worse? Facing the storm head-on, or staying silent while everything you built burns to the ground? The WWE creative team is reportedly scrambling to decide what to do next, with rumors flying that this confrontation could lead to the most emotionally charged and personally devastating storyline WWE has told in years. This isn't about titles. This isn't about championships. This is about trust, family, and the betrayal that comes when those bonds are violated. Roman Reigns is now at a crossroads. No more time to sit on the sidelines. No more silent judgment. The man who once demanded acknowledgement from everyone now must decide who he himself will acknowledge. Solo Sikoa, the wild card who's plunging the bloodline into chaos, or Jacob Fatu, the only one brave enough to try and pull it back together. And what happens if Roman chooses wrong? Or worse, if he refuses to choose at all? Will Jacob Fatu go rogue? Will the bloodline splinter into factions of their own? Will we see bloodline civil war unfold not just in the ring, but across pay-per-views and main events for the rest of the year? The WWE Universe is on edge. The locker room is walking on eggshells. Creative has been forced to change everything. And backstage, everyone knows that things can't go back to normal, not after this. This was not a scripted moment. This wasn't about playing up tension for the cameras. This was real emotion, real frustration, real consequences. Jacob Fatu has drawn the line. And now all eyes are on Roman Reigns. This is more than a story. This is a warning. Don't blink, because everything is changing. The battle for the soul of the bloodline has begun, and it's no longer just about wrestling. It's about legacy, about respect, and about survival. One family, two visions, zero room for compromise. As more details continue to leak from insiders, it's becoming clearer that WWE is on the brink of launching one of its most personal story arcs in years. This is no longer about which cousin holds a championship or headlines the next pay-per-view. This is about what the bloodline means and who will define its future. Roman Reigns, the once unquestioned leader, now stands alone at the eye of the storm, being forced to choose between loyalty to his own blood or the integrity of the legacy he claims to protect. Fatu's